Yes? High, well, let's just start. Higher, lower, the same? Anybody want to guess?
Fractional.
Fractional. Thank you. 3 billion. 66 on illegals, 3 billion on people who have laid down their lives for this country. Can anyone explain up there why that makes sense?
Well, one is including all sorts of benefits, and one is just looking at a very, very narrow slice.
No, I'm using the same
So if you
numbers.
look
I'm,
at-
sir,
if
you are.
did a
I am
direct
using
comparison,
apples
it would
to
be a very
apples.
different
I'm using apples to
calculation.
apples. So since you know, why don't you share with me?
We don't
Oh,
track
you
U.S.
don't know.
We don't check
You don't
track
know.
U.S.
Okay.
veterans in the census, so that would be very helpful if we did. Then I would be
Yeah,
able to
we
give
did.
you a
But
very
do you know
good-
the answer? Because
good-
I do. I do. So I appreciate your opinion of which you have no facts on. But let me continue and let me educate you some more.
Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If you love America, if you care about our veterans, and if you're sick and tired of seeing our priorities twisted in Washington, D.C., you're in the right place. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's talk about something that should outrage every single American, regardless of your party. Today, I want to react to a recent hearing where Representative Lisa McClain from Michigan absolutely nailed it. She laid out the facts, and I mean the real facts, about how our government is spending billions on people who came here illegally, while our veterans, the men and women who fought for this country, are left out in the cold, sometimes literally. I'm going to play some of her key points, react, and I want to know what you think in the comments.
Now 5 minutes to the gentlelady from Michigan, Lisa McClain.
I see a trend going here, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I think it's interesting that you have all the Republicans asking questions right now, so I appreciate this hearing, Mr. Chairman. Clearly, we care, and I know you do. I know we've talked about the numbers, but I think it bears repeating. The federal government spent over $66 billion on illegal immigrants in 2023, according to the Federation for American Immigration. Does anyone here want to guess how much we've spent on homeless veterans in 23? Guess? High, well, let's just start. Higher, lower, the same? Anybody want to guess?
Fractional.
Fractional. Thank you. 3 billion. 66 on illegals, 3 billion on people who have laid down their lives for this country. Can anyone explain up there why that makes sense?
Well, one is including all sorts of benefits, and one is just looking at a very, very narrow slice.
No, I'm using the same
So if you
numbers.
look
I'm,
at-
sir,
if
you are.
did a
I am
direct
using
comparison,
apples
it would
to
be a very
apples.
different
I'm using apples to
calculation.
apples. So since you know, why don't you share with me?
We don't
Oh,
track
you
U.S.
don't know.
We don't check
You don't
track
know.
U.S.
Okay.
veterans in the census, so that would be very helpful if we did. Then I would be
Yeah,
able to
we
give
did.
you a
But
very
do you know
good-
the answer? Because
good-
I do. I do. So I appreciate your opinion of which you have no facts on. But let me continue and let me educate you some more. The federal government, breaking that $66 billion down, let's look at what we fund. So you might want to get a pencil and paper and take some notes because I'll help you do your job. $5.8 billion in SNAP, $10 billion in Medicare, $8.2 billion in uncompensated hospital expenditures, $3 billion for primary and secondary education for illegal immigrants, And how many illegal immigrants are given taxpayer-funded housing compared to the number of homeless veterans that are sleeping on the street? You don't know because you don't want to know. You don't want to see the numbers. Well, I do, and I can share with you the American people do. Because I'll share with you, the people in my district, in Michigan, of the 9th District, we care about our homeless veterans. We care about our veterans. And yes, we care about them a little bit more than we care about people who have broken the law to get here illegally. So I actually have some suggestions, and maybe some answers on how to fix it. Instead of $66 billion, here are a couple things we could spend. The White House has requested $13 million for the National Call Center for homeless veterans. I'm going to say it again, $13 million with an M, right? Maybe we could find that out of that 66 billion, right, different between million and billion, big difference, we could funnel some more of that 66 billion to our homeless veterans. Anyone opposed to that? Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we doing it? Anybody got an idea? Anybody got an idea why we're not, God bless you, why we're not doing it? I'll tell you why we're not doing it, because the Biden administration does not want to do it. Am I correct? Am I incorrect on that? I didn't think so. This year's budget request from the White House asks for $17.2 billion in mental health spending for veterans. That $10 billion we lose to Medicare spending would surely benefit to struggle with the mental health issues. So why don't we do this? America's a very charitable country. Why don't we take care of our own first? Anyone see a problem with that? Why don't we? I'll tell you why we don't. Because the Biden administration doesn't want to do that. It's maddening to me. The White House budget requested for caregiver support programs not $2.9 billion. Maybe instead of $3 billion for educating illegal immigrants, we can give more funding to caregiver support programs, right? We're all talking about both sides of the aisle, which ironically doesn't even want to participate in this hearing, sadly, but not unexpected. We all talk about caregiving as a problem, right? I hear that on both sides of the aisle. What would happen if we took that $3 billion and gave it to caregivers that live in the United States? Anyone have a problem with that? Why don't we do it? Anybody? The Biden administration doesn't want to do it. And you play games with your facts. And you play this shell game. Well, I'm going to share with you, the American people are not fooled, and they are frustrated and fed up with it. Let's just be honest about where this money is going so we possibly can redirect it to the correct place. Let's start with our veterans. Thank you, and with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I think the
Representative McClain pointed out that the federal government spent $66 billion on illegal immigrants in 2023. Meanwhile, homeless veterans, those who wore the uniform, who risked everything for us, got just $3 billion. Folks, that's not a small gap. That's not a rounding error. That's a national disgrace. Let's break this down. You're telling me we have money for everyone on planet Earth, except the people who actually fought to defend our freedoms? That's not just bad policy. That's a slap in the face to every veteran and every family who's lost someone in service. And before anyone jumps in the comments with, "Oh, those numbers aren't fair," Representative McClain challenged the witnesses. She said, "I'm using apples to apples." And what did the so-called experts do? They danced around. They had nothing. Because the truth is, the numbers are staggering and indefensible. Let's look at where that $66 billion went. $5.8 billion in SNAP, food stamps, for illegal immigrants. $10 billion in Medicare for illegal immigrants. That's money meant for our seniors, our citizens who paid into the system. $8.2 billion in uncompensated hospital costs. Who do you think pays that? We do, the taxpayer. $3 billion for primary and secondary education for illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, the National Call Center for Homeless Veterans, which tries to keep them off the street, asked for just $13 million. That's not even a rounding error compared to what we're spending elsewhere. You can't even find $13 million in a $66 billion pile. As a patriot, as someone who loves this country, this makes my blood boil. We're the most charitable nation on earth. We give billions, trillions to causes all over the globe. But we can't take care of our own. That's not just poor leadership. That's immoral. The Biden administration, and frankly, too many politicians on both sides, want to play a shell game with your tax dollars. They say, "Oh, there's nothing we can do. The system is complicated." No, it's not. It's about priorities. If you want to be here, come here legally. That's the American way. But if you break the law and jump the line and then get taxpayer-funded benefits while our heroes are sleeping under bridges, something is deeply wrong. I know what the critics will say. "Oh, but we're a nation of immigrants." Yes, we are. Legal immigrants. My family came here legally. Maybe yours did too. The difference is respect for the law. The difference is We don't put the needs of lawbreakers ahead of those who bled for our flag. Representative McClain is right. Let's redirect some of that money. Take the $10 billion in Medicare spending for illegals and use it for veterans' mental health. Take the $3 billion spent on education for illegals and put it in caregiver support programs for vets and their families. Fund a national call center for homeless veterans with what they need, and then some. And while we're at it, Congress should pass a law. No non-citizen gets more taxpayer support than a single homeless veteran. Period. That's the America I believe in. If you agree with me, if you agree with Representative McClain, call your representatives. Tell them to prioritize Americans, especially our veterans, first. Share this video. Comment below. Let's make some noise. The American people are not fooled. We see what's happening, and we're tired of it. Folks, it's time to take care of our own. That's not selfish. It's the most American thing we can do. If you're with me, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Let's stand up for our veterans, for our country, and for what's right. God bless you. God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America.